Yeah, good morning, Mike. KF0OPE, W5OG. Okay, short timer. We'll put you up toward the top there, Mike. Mighty fine. KF0OPE, it needs to be a short timer, Lee. W5OG will be starting up in a couple of minutes.
W5OG K1DOB, I got John on Echo Link, and we've got a doctor's appointment.
Well, you're light, Bob. Is your amplifier on this morning?
Yeah, it's over 800 watts.
Well, I would appreciate if you'd bring John in, but you're only about an S7 here now. But that's great. I appreciate that very much, and we'll put K0ZNC on the list and up at the top there. Thanks, Bob. W5OG.
Yeah, Dale, you're only at S5 now. You're only in S5. You're usually much stronger conditions, I guess. But that was John, W6LJS. It was him that said he had a doctor's appointment this morning, and he will not be on the HF radio this morning, Dale. And I haven't yet to hear from Don.
Oh, okay. I understand. So K0ZNC is not here. Is that correct?
It's just little old me on Echo Link.
Okay. I don't have it up yet, but I'll get it going here just shortly. This is W5OG. It's, you know what it is. It's 10 o'clock here in the central part of the country, and that means it's time to start another edition of the Air Force's Flyers Club Net. Good morning to all. My call is Whiskey 5, Oscar Golf. I'll be a net controller this morning for the Air Force's Flyers Club. We meet on this frequency and this time daily. Members of our group are active duty, retired and veterans of the military air forces from all branches, including air crew, ground crew, air traffic controllers, and support personnel. We also like to welcome visitors. Our purpose of the group is to promote fellowship between those of us who radio amateurs who spend a portion of our life supporting the missions of our aviation mission of our armed forces. This is a control net, contact net control. Please use the words contact, relay, info, or check-in. Normal net procedures apply as we can. I get a strange popping here going on occasionally. I hope there's not something amiss. Hold on a second. Hello, test. I'm not overdriving or anything, so that looks okay. Anyway, hope it's good. Everybody can hear me this morning. Anyway, it's a control net, contact net control. You know the words to use, and we do have a website. You can find out all about us. It's airforcesflyersclub.org. Again, airforcesflyersclub.org. I'll be using the list off of NetLogger. If you care to check in over on the NetLogger, you're welcome to do that. And if you haven't yet downloaded the version or a version of NetLogger so that you can participate that way, we encourage you to do that. Or you can just check in over the air. We will stand by for over-the-air check-ins here just shortly. And I will have a question of the day, and I think it's up on the Charlie's YouTube. I haven't had a chance to check with him yet. Quickly, K4YDB, is the live stream up, Charlie?
Roger, it's K4YDB.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to have to see if I can't get it up because I don't have a copy of the question in front of me. I need that. Anyway, I'll go through the list here as I have it. And so far I've got the following stations on NetLogger that I've heard. And I've got W5PIX in the Mobile. Uncle Cliff is here and with a good signal from the Mobile. At least I'm hearing him out in one of the SDRs there. And I heard Mike at KF0OPU needs to be a short timer. We got you there up at the top. And K4YDB, Charlie, that I mentioned, has a YouTube live stream of the net for those of you that care to watch the net in progress from his fine station there. And he also will have a copy of today's question, so you can read it. You don't have to write everything down. Let's see. I've got John, W7AJN, and Leon in 5 Bravo Echo, who's started net logger for me and was on here early. I did hear you, Lee, there probably an hour before net started, and do appreciate your riding herd over the frequency there. And both of us are too close to that station that came on, special event station down in the New Orleans area. And we had to get Bob to talk to that gentleman, and he was kind enough to agree to move for us, and we really do appreciate that. Got a visitor, KI4 Foxtrot Sierra Zulu. That call is familiar to me. I'm not sure. I think he has checked in before. So I'll try and get you early there also, Jeff, if I can remember. And I've got the Ops Officer Carl, KF7GJO. And another visitor, KD8 Papa Yankee. I believe he checked out. Let me just take a glance at the. I think he might have switched offline. Let me see if that may. No, that's. I don't see it. Yeah, it says KD8PY. Well, I'll leave him on there. I guess you are still with us there, John. I don't know. Anyway, and I've got the Commander Bob, K1BOB. I've got Steve, KQ4HJN, one of our newer members. And also I've got Professor Bob, NX6RG from out the West Coast there. And Chief Mike, WW5ENZ. Good morning to you again, Mike, and thanks for being with us. I've got another new member, W7 Tango Uniform Echo. I thought he only checks in on Tuesdays. That's his call sign. Pete, we're glad to have you with us this morning. And see a couple of folks that were in and out, WB5DRI, my younger brother Brian, he's probably still listening, but anyway, Brian, good morning again to you. And John is at a doctor's appointment, WA6LJS. And I've got W5ABI that may or may not be there for the contractor. And also Mike, KQ6E. That's the extent of the list on NetLogger as I have it so far. Do I have any other check-ins? Any other check-ins for the Air Force's Flyers Club Net? Over-the-air check-ins for the Air Force's Flyers Club Net. Call now, W5OG. Nothing heard. I really don't have anybody out west. I guess just you, Bob, K1. Oh, well, let me get the professor there. NX6RG, would you put a call out from Pleasanton, California, Bob? W5OG.
This is an X6RG for Net Control, looking for check-ins to the Air Force's Flyers Club Net. Members or guests, please call now. The zero station, say again? Roger, Kilo Fox Zero, Bravo Charlie Zulu. That's the only one I heard. Dale, over.
Yeah, I can hear him, but he's very, very light. I may need you to relay there, Bob. Is it KF0 Bravo Charlie Zulu? Kilo Foxtrot 0 Bravo Charlie Zulu. Do I have that correct, Bob?
Roger.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll get him on the list there. That's Kilo Foxtrot 0 Bravo Charlie Zulu. Just stand by, we'll get you in. So let's see if we got anybody from the East Coast there. I don't see anybody on the very East Coast, but Charlie, you had a booming signal, and I think that most folks can hear you from the Midwest there. K4YDB, would you put a call out? W5OG.
Roger, Roger, I'll give it a try. This is K4YDB relaying for net control. We're looking for check-ins to the Air Force's Flyers Club net. Members or guests, call now. I hear nothing, Dale.
All right, thank you, Charlie. All right, let me see if I can get this live stream to work here. Let's see. I got I guess it's up. Is that correct, Charlie?
Roger, Roger.
Let me see what I need to click on to get to live here. Well, I don't see it. Anyway, let me go ahead and get started with the question of the day. It has to do with one of my favorite airplanes, since I spent a portion of my Air Force career flying the venerable Canberra B-57. And we've talked about it before a time or two. This is a simple question, and I don't think anybody. Anyway, I don't think that that most of these statements that I'm going to make we have discussed before on the net, so you should have no trouble. But anyway, it'll be a good review for us concerning the B-57. Which, if any, of the following statements is/are correct? And statement alpha is that the B-57 was a license-built U.S. version of the English electric Canberra bomber aircraft. It was a license-built U.S. version of the English Electric, which is a company, of course, in Great Britain there, Canberra bomber aircraft. Statement Bravo. The U.S. version of the B-57 was built by the Glenn L. Martin Company at its Middle River, Maryland plant. Statement Bravo. The U.S. version of the B-57 was built by the Glenn L. Martin Company at its Middle River, Maryland plant. Statement Charlie. The B-57 served in the USAF for 30 years, 30 years, and NASA still flies 3 B-57s today. Statement Charlie. The B-57 served in the USAF for 30 years, and NASA still flies 3 B-57s today. And I'm still struggling trying to get, oh, here we go. Now I got it, I think. Okay, now I'm in tall cotton here. I got the live stream up and I can read the questions. All right, I finished statement Charlie. Statement Delta. The B-57 holds the distinction of being the first jet bomber to drop bombs in combat. The B-57 holds the distinction of being the first jet bomber to drop bombs in combat. And in statement Echo, all of these statements are correct. So if you think all of them are correct, and I didn't just make up some of that, then you would pick statement Echo as all are correct. All right, the bonus question. True or false? The Pakistan Air Force was the only really other main user of the B-57 and made use of it in 2 wars with India. The Pakistani Air Force was the other main user of the B-57 and made use of it in 2 wars with India. True or false? That's the question of the day. Let me get my let me get my early outs out of the way here. First one, let me go to Cliff first. He was pretty light with me. W5PIX. Let me see if I can still hear you where you are now, Cliff. Go ahead. You're up. W5OG.
W5PIX here. We keep the radio working and the Texas and Buddha, that is. go get a cup of coffee. Remember, it's W5CIX Mobile.
Yeah, Cliff, I think you know it, but there's a little RF that sneaks in there every now and then. I can hear that on the Utah number 4 SDR there. All right, let's go to the other short timer, KF0OP. Then I'll take a standby and see if we have any additional short timers because I didn't do that earlier. So stand by the other folks that might want to be a short timer. We'll get to you just here shortly. Mike, KF0OP, go ahead, Mike. Good morning to you. Sure enjoyed our visit, by the way, on the way home. W5OG. Okay, fine, Mike. Yeah, well, as we talked about before, use caution, lad. That's what I would lead you. As an older man, I have to tell you to be careful with that. Yeah, I know you enjoy the work, and I'm sure it's thrilling. 7-3, Mike, and have a good day there. Sure do appreciate your being a new member there. All right, let's see. Next on, let me just take a quick standby. Any other short timers? Anybody else need to be a short timer this morning that's on the list? Call now, W5OG. Well, okay, don't hear anybody else, so I guess that's the extent of that. Let me go back. Okay, top of the list then would be Charlie, K4YDB. Good morning again, Charlie. Thanks for doing the live stream. Sure helps out, especially with the question of the day. Especially when your poor struggling net controller didn't manage to get a copy of his own question. K4YDB, good morning, Charlie. You're up, W5OG.
W5OG, K4YD. Well, good morning, Dale. Morning to all the flyers out there and all the visitors. I hope everybody's having a good morning. Right now, it's currently 88 degrees. Humidity is 59%. And it's supposed to get up into the upper 90s today. But the good news is we're supposed to have rain coming in this weekend. I'm sure looking forward to it. I'm tired of this hot weather, man. It's just been so miserable. Get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go do my run at the park, so this way I can avoid all the hot temperatures. And this morning it was almost 80 degrees when I started at 7 o'clock this morning, and humidity was up a little bit, so it's a little uncomfortable. But right now I've just been tinkering around the house, got some laundry done this morning. I'm not going to do a lot outside. There's just only so much of that heat that you can handle. So anyway, as far as the question goes, gee, I really don't know. I was going to do what Cliff said, so I'm just going to follow Cliff, Charlie, and True. I was going to pick that anyway, but anyway, Cliff beat me to it. Anyway, I saw what's going on over here. I'll turn it back to you, Dale. W5OG, K4YDB. I'm back to net.
Okay, fine. Fine, Charlie. Charlie and Tango, True, for the second question there. And you think that the Pakistanis did have a couple of B-57s or so, and they used them in their war with India. Well, we'll see how that turns out. And by the way, Lee, KF0OPE, his answer was echo. All of you, he thought that I wasn't imaginative enough to come up with I was not able to managed to make a statement that was incorrect, so he thinks they're all true. He picked Echo and Tango. Let's go to John, W7AJN. Good morning again there in Peoria. John, you're up, W5OG. Okay, fine, John. Yeah, solid copy. Got your answers there, and we'll say 73 to you, and have a great day, and glad to hear that the girls are doing well. Let's go to Lee, and thank you again, Lee, for doing the net logging. And I am following along. I did go ahead and sign on as a logger, and making a couple of changes and I'm hopeful that I didn't mess anything up there. I don't think I did so far, at least. I'll try and keep my fingers off of it. N5BE, good morning again, Lee. You're up, W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG N5BE. Nope, no harm, no foul, Dale. It's all good. Just trying to keep my head above water here. Oh, boy, I love this airplane. The first time I was in it, up close, and not at an airport, was at Plattsburgh Air Force Base in 1973 or 4. We had gone up there to recover a helicopter that had mechanical, there was an F-106 mission up there in the woods with northern New York and Vermont. I don't think that's in. But anyway, we flew up there in our U-3. I think I told that story before. And we were parked between a Canadian C-130 and a USAF ED-57. So I got to go look at it pretty close out there on the transit ramp. That was cool. And then the next time I ran into one was in Germany at Baden-Sollingen Canadian Air Force Base, 1988 Tactical Air Meet for NATO. And there was one each Canberra, Royal Air Force Canberra there that was, I think, a jamming asset. Got to see that variant up close and personal. Boy, that cockpit sure looks like it's B+ control to me. So, no thank you. I'm gonna go Echo Tango. I know the history of this pretty well. Get everything that really was. And then we sold part of it to Lockheed, and then kept part of it from the aerostructure standpoint. And then I think they just basically ran out of business, and we shut them down. But a lot of history there. All right, Dale. That's it. I'm going Echo Tango, and we'll see how that turns out. W5OG N5BE.
Okay, fine. Finally, you know, I'm sure that airplane you looked at there at Plattsburgh was a former Stewart aircraft. I was at Stewart Air Force Base flying the B-57s. That was my first duty assignment. And those airplanes, when Stewart closed, I think they went up to Plattsburgh. So that's what you saw. I was there in 64 to 67 and left in 67 to go to pilot training. But I was an EWO flying B-57s, got about 1,500 hours riding in the back seat of that thing. Most of the time with my hand on the ejection handle there. No, it was a great airplane. Had many pond hours riding along there. Much fun for a young second lieutenant and then the first lieutenant. Anyway, those are good memories. All right, let's go to Jeff down in St. Petersburg, Florida, one of our visitors this morning, KI4 Foxtrot Sierra Zulu. I hope I can hear you. Jeff, you're up, W5OG. Okay, Jeff, did you turn it back? All right, well, we'll say hello to you and thank you for checking in with us, and be sure to give our regards to W4CBJ, one of our old timers there. So glad to have both of you, even though he's not on with us, that you might just pass along our regards. Thank you, Jeff, for coming in this morning. Appreciate it. Let's go to Carl, KF7GJO. Good morning, Carl. You're up, W5OG.
Well, good morning, Dale and the group. This is KF7GJO, where it's nice and warm. Temperatures back up in the normal range out here in the Wild West.
Other than that, where does the time go?
I've been so busy I haven't gotten anything done. Anyway, yeah, it's good to be on the air, and you got a good list going, Dale, so I'll send it back to you so you can keep the rotation going, and I'll be with you to the bottom. So, W5OGs, KF7GJO.
Okay, Sparky, mind if you want to take a stab at the questions there, Carl, over?
Negative. I'll leave it to the others.
Okay. All right, you're going to pass on the question this morning. Always good to hear your cheery voice. All right, let's move along. Next would be the Commander Bob. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, it's KD8PYY. I think he checked out. All right, K1BOB. Good morning, Bob. You're up, W5OG.
Okay, Dale. Well, here you go. I'm asking the early S5 coming into here. I don't know whether it's bad conditions, very poor conditions here. Good morning. Good to have you back on the saddle there, Dale. And yeah, I figured I knew a little bit about the B-57. Anyway, I want to thank Leon for doing that while we were there. Leon did help us check out early there on Echo Link. He's got a doctor's appointment apparently. He didn't sound too good this morning. I didn't visit with him. Let's see, all is well here. And I do know a little bit about the B-57. In fact, I have a picture showing hangs in the lineup there of a B-57. I sent him one day on an associated question. So let's see. Let me look at the questions. I think they're all true. I knew two of them were true. I knew three of them were true. And I think for the first one, they're all true. So put me down for Echo. I'm pretty sure that is right. Lucky when I get a question once in a while correct without looking it up. And yeah, Pakistan had them, and they did fly them in what do they call them? With India. Twice, matter of fact. So interesting airplane. I knew you flew it. And I don't think I've ever seen one though. Maybe in a museum. I don't remember ever seeing one or seeing one on an air show, but they were probably phased out by the time I was flying around the air shows. So this is K1BOB. Thank you for running the net. Interesting question. That was a heck of an airplane, wasn't it? K1BOB. That's the W5OG.
Yes, it was, Bob, and very interesting. Yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, and the other startling statistic about the B-57 is the number of tons of bombs that it dropped in Vietnam. Incredible for only 2 squadrons. They only had 2 squadrons of B-57s, and they did an enormous job over there. Early on in the war, of course, they were. I think by the time, even by the time I got over there, which was not until April of '70, they had pretty well suspended their operations. And they may have still had a couple going. I don't know. But anyway, I'd have to look that up. But they did drop an awful lot of bombs and participated mightily in that effort there. All right, let's move along to Steve, KQ4HJN. You had a good signal earlier, Steve. You're up, W5OG. Okay, fine. Steve, well, we're glad to have you as a new member, a relatively new member. Now, you're not even a new guy anymore. You've been here for a while. So anyway, we're glad to have you with us this morning there, for sure. All right, let's go to Professor Bob in X6RG. And I think, didn't we look at a B-57 there when we were walking around the Air Force Museum there, Bob? W5OG, go ahead.
W5OG, this is NX6RG. Well, good morning, Dale. And yeah, I think we did see a B-57 there. You know, I probably mentioned to you that my wing commander at Wright Pat, when I was on the EC-135s there, he commanded the 4950th Test Wing, but he flew B-57s in Vietnam and went on to get 2 stars. And retired as a vice commander at the Aeronautical Systems Division there at Wright Pat. His name was Pete Odgers, Adgers, Odgers, and he was a great commander, really good guy, and we really, all of us, I think, enjoyed serving under his command. You know, good question there for info, but I think everything in there is true. So your first question, everything is true, I believe, and I believe the bonus question is also correct. So, yeah, anyway, put me down for everything's true. And B-57 is an interesting plane, although, you know, the ones you cite for NASA, I don't think were B-57s. I think they were the ones with the extended wing, the WB-57s. And because they were performing similar missions with NASA as their old U-2s, and then, you know, we gave them what were called ER-2s. It was an updated aircraft from the ones they were flying, so. But they were all high-altitude planes, and they were used for atmospheric research, so. Yeah, I think NASA still has those and still flying them. So, I think that's about it. I'm going to be one and done. I've got dog walking duties today and tomorrow. My wife is playing, well, I call it combat bridge. She's a member of the American Contract Bridge League, and so she and her partner went down to a tournament down in San Jose, and they're going to play in there for a couple of days. So we'll see how she does when she gets back on Saturday. Anyway, with that, Dave, we'll say 7-3, so I'll listen out for the answer, and then I'm going to take Schroeder for his walk. W5OG and X6RG.
Okay, Bob, very interesting. Do you play bridge with your wife, Bob, over?
Well, I did when we were dating, but, you know, card games are, I've never really enjoyed playing card games a lot, so we played a little bit later, but, you know, she's a life master, and, you know, her skill level and mine are so far apart. We're not a good match anymore. Over.
Okay, well, Carol and I played bridge a lot, especially during the Stewart years. When we were there at Stewart, everybody played bridge. We had great bridge. We would play contract bridge for social evenings, and it was much fun. And you think. I guess the younger folks today would laugh at that. They would scoff at it, I suppose. But we played bridge up until, I don't remember when we kind of got away from it. I guess the busier I got in the Air Force, I guess the less inclined we were. Well, I know well into my years at Ogden there at Hill Air Force Base. So that was up until 74. When I went back to Scott, I think that's about the time we stopped playing bridge. I don't know. I guess it just got. I don't know. We moved on, I suppose. But we enjoyed playing bridge as young folks and miss it. I really did. I think about those. As far as card games go, it is unquestionably the finest a card game out there. It is really amazing. It's akin to chess, of course, and it's very demanding. Anyway, can be, or you can play it for fun, and that's the way we did. All right, let's move along. Thank you, Bob. Good memories, and we'll say 7-3 to you for now, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. But walk Schroeder there. Give him an extra pat for us. WW5ENZ, Chief Mike, you're up. Good morning, Chief. Go ahead, W5OG.
Okay, W5OG, good morning. This is WW5ENZ. Good morning to everybody else on the net also. It's a nicer day here, about 85 degrees, not bad. Sunny, clear skies, and no wind. So lots of stuff is good. And let's see. As far as the question goes, I'm going to say echo, and also it's the second one true. So ET, I guess, is what it's going to be for me. It's not like a lemming line, but I'm so far down the list that it almost looks like a lemming line, but we'll see. And other than that, everything's going well here, and we'll stand by. We'll be here to the bottom still. Sounding real good down here. I can pretty much hear you locally today. W5OG, this is WW5ENT, back to net.
Okay, Mike, mighty fine. Glad you can. We have a path of some kind or another. I don't know what it is, but it's unusual that we have a path from here to Oklahoma City. Coming home from South Dakota, when we get to Oklahoma City, we consider ourselves to be home. All right, let's move along. Let's see, W7TUE, a new member there. Peter, I don't know if I've even met you before on the air, but glad to make your acquaintance and glad that you are here with us. W7TUE, you're up, Peter, W5OG.
W5OG, here's Whiskey 7 Tango Uniform Echo. Good morning, Dale. I think you've spoken a couple of times on that. As far as the question goes, I'm going to go with Echo Tango. And I remember this number. I believe I was stationed at RAF Upper Hayford in the UK for most of my service. And I think I drove by an RAF field on the way down to NCO Prep when I attended, and there were some Canberras at the ready out there on the tarmac. They put the canvas over the Perspex bubble, and I recall that beautiful they were. They weren't courses. I was trying to, but I'm fine. That's the question. I'm going to go with Echo Tango. It's good to hear everyone this morning. With that, well, I'll turn it back to you. W5OG, here's W7.
Okay, fine, Peter. And do you prefer Peter or Pete? Well, W7 TUE, is it Peter or Pete? Maybe I've asked you this question before. I guess I should stick with Peter.
I'll go with Peter.
Okay, fine. And KK6 is ZML. I've got you, Harold. Put him on the list there, and I'll get to him just here shortly. Good morning to you, Harold. We've got you on the list. That's Kilo 6, Zulu Mike Lima, Lee. And Pete, back to you. Interesting comments, and the B-57 was a good-looking airplane from an early-on standpoint. It was so far outclassed by the airplanes that came along after it, but at the time it was a pretty airplane. I think it always had a soft spot in my heart. And I'll talk about it some more here just shortly. But I got your answer. An ET call, a phone home, and anyway, we'll move along and go to Joe, W5ABI. Go ahead, Joe, you're up. If you're there, back from your contractor. Go ahead, W5OG.
Of the county, but we have about a 50-foot drop down to the farms. It's on about a 35-degree angle. And at my age, I didn't want to go rolling through mesquite for 50 feet. So we got it off in and we pulled on the roof and got back in mesquite. Anyhow, I didn't hear the question, but we got a good signal there. Just about everybody. We'll be here about right around next the morning down the farm. W5OG, W5ABI.
All righty, Joe. Mighty fine, and glad that you got all those pesky mesquite trees under control once again. All right, break with you. We'll go over to let's see, Mike there in Anthem, Arizona, KQ6E. Go ahead, Mike. You're up. W5OG.
Hi, W5OG in the group, KQ6E. Another wonderful day in paradise here. It's going to get up into the hundreds again today, but at least not too bad humidity. But yeah, it's been a busy week, so I haven't been on much. So good to hear everybody this morning. Hope you're copying me. It's interesting. I'm copying most everybody, but there's a few folks that I'm not hearing at all. So it's kind of up and down today, I guess. Great question, because when I was with the 460th TRS in Tom Sanook, we had several RB-57s that we flew for night stuff. I worked the night shift, so I processed a lot of film, and they used to shoot a lot of infrared stuff when we were there, and because they could see in the jungles and stuff moving. I always thought it was interesting. I remember having commander's call, basically, when we went into Cambodia, and Richard Nixon said, "No, we're not bombing Cambodia," but we were doing bomb damage assessments from the RB-57s of stuff in Cambodia. So yeah, I know, but it was interesting. I love that airplane. It just had this nice rakish look to it. And like I say, we had 2 or 3 of them out there that we flew. But when I moved over to the 45th, we wasn't supporting the RB-57s. We went to the RF-101s that we flew. But it was I just loved that airplane. It was beautiful to go by it out on the flight line on the way to work. It was just a cool looking airplane. I envy you being able to fly that thing. statement. So also, I'm pretty sure they flew with the Pakistani Air Force, so I'm going to go with true on that one. So see how you turn out. So W5OG in the group, KQ6E.
All right, fine, Mike. Yeah, good comments. Interesting, and I think everybody had an appreciation for the old B-57. I know I certainly did. Oh, I've got a visitor here that I should have brought in earlier. I just noticed that. KF0 Bravo Charlie Zulu. I think I did hear you when you first checked in, but you were light. I hope you stayed with us. Your turn, and I may need Bob to help with this one. KF0BCZ, you're up, W5OG. Well, I don't hear him. Yeah, you can. Let's see, K1BOB, would you give him a call, Bob, W5OG?
K1BOB, we're looking for KF0 Bravo Charlie Zulu. Are you there, sir? It's your turn for the Flyers Club now. KF0 Bravo Charlie Zulu. Nothing heard here, Dale.
Yeah, I think the other Bob, NX6RG, brought him in initially. Thank you, Bob. Well, we gave it a try anyway. And I see that KQ6E, no, I'm sorry. I see that an old mind is, a wonderful handicap. K6 Papa X-Ray is just listening. Good morning to you, Steve. Glad to have you join us this morning. And see, I've got another visitor here. Alpha Echo 7 X-Ray Golf is on the list. Let me see if I can hear you, David, from Idaho there. You're up, W5OG. Now, Alpha Echo 7 X-Ray Golf, are you there, David, W5OG? Well, I don't hear David. Let's move along to Harold. I did hear you, Harold. Good morning to you. Glad that you could join us. Haven't heard you for a while. KK6ZML, you're up, Harold, W5OG. Okay, we'll check you out here on HF, and then look forward to hearing you on Echolink there. We will have an Echolink session afterward, after the 73 round here, and I do invite you to anybody that has Echolink would like to join us is welcome, of course. And it's the AFFC node under the conference tab of Echolink. And we use that, of course, to back up the HF. All right, that's the bottom of the list. And I don't think I missed anyone. Did I miss anybody on the original list? Call now, W5OG. Okay, I don't hear anyone, so let me go ahead and get dispensed with the question, make a few comments about the old B-57 there. The question was, which, if any, of the following statements concerning the B-57 is incorrect? And A was the B-57 was a license-built U.S. version of the English Electric Canberra bomber. And that's a true statement, as many of you, and most all of you know. And it was, one of the very few times that I know of, and maybe Lee in 5BE would like to comment about this, but I don't remember any other times that we have taken a foreign-built aircraft and incorporated into the Air Force, the Air Force inventory. You might just, when it comes your turn, you might comment on that, Lee. But anyway, this is one of the exceptions, and it was a license built from the old British Canberra bomber. And Statement B was the U.S. version of the B-57. It was built by the Glenn L. Martin Company at its Middle River, Maryland plant. I had no idea that they had a plant in Maryland, to be honest with you. And I flew the airplane for 3 years. But anyway, that is a true statement, as Lee mentioned, and he was very familiar with when they shut that plant down. Even a lot of interest. And I know that Martin was around for a long time. It used to be, I think they got bought out by Lockheed, and then it became Lockheed Martin, and and the rest is history, I suppose. But anyway. It stems back to the old Glenn L. Martin Company, and it started back when they were building bi-wing airplanes back in the early 1900s. It's amazing how old that company was, and its association with aviation at its infancy. Statement C. The B-57 served in the Air Force for 30 years, and NASA still flies 3 B-57s today. And, of course, Bob was correct in that those 3 are our B-57s. They're the long-wing version, but it is a variant of the B-57. So I take that to be a correct statement, and Bob agreed with that. But it is interesting that that is one of the variants was the RB or the WB. They both tasks, both weather reconnaissance, and they were sniffers for nuclear weapons and nuclear sniffing that they did, and probably still do with NASA. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a true statement. And Delta was also true. The B-57 holds the distinction of being the first jet bomber to drop bombs in combat. And that is a true statement. So Echo is right. All the statements are correct. The bonus questions, true or false, the Pakistani Air Force did have a few of them. And I don't know. Somebody mentioned that they still have some. I don't know that. But I would not think that they would still be flying those airplanes, but could be. I don't know. Anyway, they did use it in the 2 wars with India. So that was a true statement. All right. I appreciate the participation with my attempt at a question concerning the B-57. I thought it was we hadn't talked about it in a long time. It's probably time to resurrect it and review it. I had many fine memories flying the B-57 for 3 years there at Stewart, New York, and went all over the world with it, including I got a chance to ferry a couple of B-57s over to Clark in the Philippines, and actually we deployed the whole squadron 15 airplanes to Simbach over in Germany, and I got to participate in that exercise. So much fun. And we can talk about war stories with a B-57 at any extent you'd like to talk. Yeah, I guess in the future there. All right, let's move along and go back to the top of the list. Let me just take a quick standby and see if we have any last-minute check-ins. Last call for check-ins, Air Force's Flyers Club Net. Members or visitors that would like to join us, call now, W5OG. Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and start at the top of the list with Uncle Cliff, W5PIX. Cliff, if you're available, go ahead and take your turn. The 73 round, Cliff, W5OG. W5PIX, are you there, Cliff? You may be busy. W5OG. Well, he may had to step out of the cab there. We'll maybe pick him up on the Echo link there. Let's go to Charlie, K4YDB. Charlie, 73 round, W5OG.
W5OG, K4YDB. Well, good net today, Dale. Your signals held up very nicely. So there was a lot of good signals in here today. So conditions were pretty good here today. Anyway, 7-3s, everybody. Everybody have a good day. I did put a picture of that airplane up on the link here on the stream if anybody wants to see it. Anyway, 7-3s, everybody. Everybody have a good day. We will try this again tomorrow. It's K4YDB. Back to net.
Okay, Charlie, mighty fine. I can tell the delay there by watching your lips move. So, yeah, it's a good-looking airplane behind you there, Charlie. I see it well. I do appreciate you putting that up there. 7-3 for now. We'll maybe see you on Echo Link. Let's see, John signed out, and let's go to Lee, and maybe he'd have a comment or two about Glenn L. Martin and the history of that company. N5BE, go ahead, Lee, W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG N5BE. I'm not an expert on the Glenn Martin Company, but boy, they sure built a lot of flying boats during World War II, and maybe one of the biggest in Martin Mars. So those were the good old days. Relative to your question on foreign aircraft and our services, so currently we're flying a modified Lakota helicopter that is produced by Airbus helicopters. National Guard's flying that. For years, the Coast Guard flew Falcon 20s that were highly modified for them in this country. And then, of course, they also flew the Dolphin helicopter that was assembled in this country and highly modified for them. So, it's not a one-for-one relative to comparing it to the B-57. But, in a related vein, we flew a lot of British aircraft in World War II. We flew the Spitfire, the Beaufighter, Bob's favorite World War II airplane, and the Mosquito, and we flew them in numbers. So those were just, off-the-shelf aircraft without any modifications, for our use, as far as I know. So, yeah, there is a history of us flying and modifying foreign aircraft to suit our needs, and it's still going on today with the Grey Wolf. And where it's called a Boeing helicopter, but the airframe comes from Italy. So the beat goes on, as the saying says. All right, I enjoyed this. I love it when people show affection for aircraft that they, that pass through their careers. And even though they can kill us if we don't pay attention, we still love them, don't we? W5OG N5BE.
Yeah, you bet, Lee. And I'll just make a quick comment about that. Hold on. Yeah, the B-57, as many of you probably remember, did not have a sterling safety record. In fact, our squadron there at Stewart Air Force Base in New York lost 3 airplanes over a span of 4 months, and that's 3 airplanes and 3 crews. I think out of those 3 airplanes, there may have been 1 survivor. So anyway, not good time to be there, especially as a brand new second lieutenant with a brand new wife. Very unsure about this Air Force thing, and those were some trying years. You think that it might have changed things for us, but it really, I think, really helped me to develop into the whole thing into a career. Put it in perspective. And you knew, every day is a gift, and you had to just move along. But we were careful of that airplane. It was a treacherous thing, especially on one engine. Because the wide spread of the engines, they were so far out on the wings that its single engine characteristics were unforgiving at the very best. Anyway, let's move along, and 7-3 to you, Lee, and thanks for the help with net logging today for sure. Let's go to Jeff, KI4, Foxtrot Sierra Zulu. If you're still there, Jeff, you're up for the 73 round, W5OG. Well, I guess Jeff moved along. Let's go to Carl, KF7GJO. Sparky, you're up for the 73 round, W5OG.
Okay, Dale. Well, hey, it was a good net today, and
Yeah, the long-wing RB-57 was an airplane that I was always intrigued with.
I was just curious how high it would actually fly.
And, yeah,
You shut a fan down on that airplane, and you got one hellacious asymmetrical thrust situation set up there. Okay, 73s, everybody. Have a fantastic day. We'll come back and try this again tomorrow, Martini Day. W5OG, KM7DJO.
Okay, Carl, you're not real strong with me, and I've got the antenna right towards you there. We must not have a good path. And I noticed that Bob, also in that general direction, was not strong this morning. So, strange things are going along with the propagation. We just do do with what we've got, I guess, what we're given. All right, mighty fine, Carl. 7-3 to you. Let's go to Bob. K1BOB. Go ahead, Bob. 7-3 W5OG.
you've been up and down. You just went up to a 7, you just dropped that down to a 5. I'm very proud directly if they don't outnumber a year afterwards, you're going to see it in some days. Look it up, B-57, and well, you talk about accents, I know what you mean exactly. I can count at least a dozen people I personally knew that had an aircraft accent, and many of those were the F-111. Usually some crew error, unfortunately. It could always get to the bottom of a crash. What would be making sure it's not too hard. It's very sad, and I can't remember how many times I went to the base camp with Simone, one of our friends there, especially at Mountain Home, and I don't think they put it up on paper when I got there in England. We didn't have any aircraft crash, so we had aircraft crash coming up on 11. And they're usually range crashes or night CHR crash to the side of the hill. So I always made it, I was determined that never saw that happen to me, and I didn't, no matter how many times I got tested. So, very good, Dale. Enjoyed the net, and conditions aren't great, but they are what they are. You can't fool with Mother Nature. K1BOD, back to you, Dale. Thanks for doing a great net.
Okay, Bob. Yeah, along that same line, one of the other a good friend of mine that was lost in the B-57 world was, and we were very young then. This is probably the first year that we were there. And there was another young couple, just newly married, and we were good friends with. And he was the pilot, and I flew with him quite a bit. But I was on a trip with another pilot, and they came back early from their mission. Now, his wife was young, and as many times it happened that when we would be gone together at the same time, she'd come over and spend the nights with Carolyn. She was over at our house, and they were on base the day, and they saw all the fire trucks headed off base. Didn't have any idea what it was. Things were different back then. No cell phones. You weren't as close as we are perhaps today. So they didn't know what was going on. Went on home to our house, and that later that evening they were sitting around, and came a knock at the door, and the other lady, the gal who had lost her husband, said, "It's the squadron commander and a chaplain." And she sat back down. Carolyn said that. She went to the door and said, "It looks like it's a squadron commander and his wife." And she was kind of startled. Of course, these are young kids. We were just newlyweds. And Carolyn probably was 21 years old. Anyway, the other gal said, "Well, let them in," and she sat down. and she knew exactly what it was. And sure enough, they had come to tell her that Harlan had been killed. His name was Harlan Bagaus, good friend, and we lost him early on in our life. And you're right about going to those memorials at the chapel, and it was really kind of a heart-wrenching thing. But you learned a lot about the Air Force in a hurry, and how close we were. It made us really into a close-knit family. And we remember her today, as a result of all that. And at the time, she was pregnant with their first child, and Harlan didn't even know about it. So it was really a tragedy. Anyway, 7-3 to you. Let's see, who was that? Oh, Bob, K1POV. Let's move along to Mike. Sorry about that. I thought I would just mention it, though, because it was on my mind. WW5ENZ, 7-3 around there, Mike, W5OG.
Where the California governor signed a law that says there will be no voter identification in California, even though cities like Huntington Beach have already passed a law to have voting ID. Are we in a crazy place or what? I don't know. Anyway, WW5ENZ 73, everybody, and have a great day.
Okay, mighty fine there, Chief Mike. Yeah, I saw that. Absolutely unbelievable. But there's so much insanity that pervades in our societies today that, and I won't make any more comments. We can talk about it perhaps over on Echolink. 7-3 to you, Mike, and we will talk to you later. Let's go to Joe, W5ABI, 7-3 Joe, W5OG.
Thanks for running in that W3 for you and all the flyers. W5OG, W5ABI.
7-3, Joe. All right, let's move along. Mike, KQ6E, 7-3 to you, Mike, W5OG.
W5OG and the group KQ6E. Yeah, great question. I enjoyed that. I'd forgotten about the B-57. I always thought that was such a neat aircraft. And like I said, we were processing film for that. They flew mostly at night, if I remember correctly. And I worked night shift. I worked 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. 6 days a week over there. But we, like I say, we had that. We had fun. So that's it. Anyway, great question. You flew it, and always fun to work for it. Anyway, good to hear everybody. Tomorrow's on the conference, so I'll be on. I'll hopefully catch you guys on Saturday. So W5OG and
Okay, fine, Mike, and have a good, wait a minute, let me dispense with this phone call. Looks like maybe a spam call. Mighty fine on all that, and have a good golf outing tomorrow. Good to talk to you today. And I believe that's the bottom of the list. I think all these other stations have already signed out, including Harold. Let me see if, Harold said he'd see us over on Echolink, so we'll see you there, Harold. Let me take a quick standby and just make sure that I didn't miss anyone or any last minute check-ins. Call now, W5OG. Well, I don't hear anything on local or the SDR there. So this has been the Thursday edition of the Air Force's Flyers Club Net. Again, I thank you for your participation, for everybody that checked in, and all the great comments. It really makes the net enjoyable for everyone, I think. And we're going to get out of here in plenty of time for the Alaska Pacific guys, which start up their net at the bottom of the hour here coming up. So, and that's up on 292. So this has been the Thursday edition of the Air Force's Flyers Club Net, W5OG, now closing the net and returning the frequency to normal amateur use, making way for the next net. 7-3, everybody. See you over on Echo Line. W5OG clear.